Hey, you made it back. Good to see you again. Today, I've already poured you a glass there, but as always, if you don't drink it, I will. But today, we're sipping on Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. Woodford is one that you can get in any bar, just about. I see it all over the place. That with Knob Creek and Bullet, those are pretty standard that you can get anywhere. I don't see a lot of double oaked out there. Now, this is considered a finished bourbon, which means they go through the new oak barrel process with 51% corn and then either wheat or rye usually. But it's 51% corn aged in new oak barrels for I think it's 3 years. I'm not an expert at this stuff. I just know what I know. And I know I like to drink bourbon. But there's some like Angel's Envy that's finished in like port wine barrels, and there's others in like sherry casks and things like that. So they go through the process to become quote unquote bourbon, and then they'll transfer that bourbon into a different barrel. The difference here is nothing else was aged in these barrels. So you don't have a wine flavor, coming out, being extracted into the bourbon or anything like that. What this is they call it let me read what they say. They say bourbon finished in new, heavily toasted, lightly charred barrels. To me, this has a little more depth of flavor than the regular Woodford. It's probably aged longer. They don't have an age statement on here. But I've already poured these and I've already had this airing out. You can see it's clinging to the glass pretty good. So we talked about that. It's probably going to have a better finish to it and a good flavor. It is sweet on the nose, but not the same as like an Elijah Craig. This has more woody notes to it to me. I pulling those out. The caramel is there, but that's going to be pretty standard. Vanilla, caramel, apple, those are just going to be in almost every bourbon that you try. A lot of that sweetness comes out of the corn. Let's give it a taste. Yeah, very familiar. Again, if you've had Woodford, if you like Woodford Reserve, you're going to like this. But it's going to bring a little more to the ball game than regular Woodford Reserve. Of course, this is Woodford Reserve Distillery. There's a whole history out there from the 1800s of how they switched and flip-flop, got sold and bought and rebought and all that type of stuff. But the Woodford Reserve is their release, and this is the double oaked version of it where they age it a little longer. Well, I won't say longer than that because I don't know when they pull the barrels for double oaked and how long they've aged compared to regular Woodford, because there's no age statement on here. So I don't know. There may be online, maybe able to look it up. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I stood this side up to be normal people drinking bourbon together, and here you are, and here I am, and have a good time. But this is a highly flavorful bourbon. It doesn't have a long, it's not long on the back end like the Eagle Rare was. That's a good follow, a finish on that one. Probably why they call it rare. Don't know. But I really do like this bourbon. Any day of the week. Not the best bourbon on the shelf, but they're sort of like kids. I love them all the same. But if you enjoy these videos and you enjoy sitting across the table from me, please subscribe, and I hope to see you next time.